All right, so we are diving deep into the message, Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Mm,
Have you read this
I
one?
have, yeah. It's a good one.
It's fantastic. And it's interesting, right? Because it's not your typical like start to finish, linear narrative.
Right.
It's three essays all kind of woven together.
Yeah, and you see authors experimenting with form more and more these days, but this is different.
Yeah.
It's really unique.
And I think that's part of what makes it so powerful.
Definitely.
Because he's really kind of challenging us to think about how we tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
How do those stories shape our reality? How do they shape our understanding of everything, you know?
Yeah. And it's interesting, right? Because he's kind of building on the themes that he's tackled in previous works.
Definitely. Yeah.
Race, history, personal experience. But he takes it a step further in the message.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't shy away from the big questions. I mean, he's asking, like, what is the nature of storytelling? How does it relate to truth? How does it shape our understanding of history?
And how we see ourselves,
Yeah.
even, like our own identities.
Absolutely. It's really powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things I love is how he weaves in these really vivid, like, travel narratives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he talks about going to Dakar, Senegal.
Yeah.
And, he gets there and it's this vibrant modern city.
Right.
But he talks about how there's still this, like, pull to see it through this more, like, romanticized lens.
Right, like that kind of mythical Africa idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like those narratives are so ingrained, even when we're confronted with a different reality.
Exactly. And that's what's so powerful about the way he uses these different locations.
Yeah.
It's not just about the place itself. He uses them as a lens to examine these bigger ideas
Yeah.
about storytelling.
Absolutely. I mean, he does that with, Dakar. He does it with, he talks about book banning in Columbia, South Carolina.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
That whole debate about what stories get told and who gets to tell them.
Exactly.
It's like you're saying, those narratives have real consequences.
Has consequences, yeah.
And it's interesting, too, because he's not just talking about this as some kind of, like, abstract concept,
Yeah.
He's teaching at Howard. He's shaping young minds.
That's right. Yeah. He's got a front row seat to how these stories play out in the real world.
Exactly.
And he does it all in this incredibly engaging way, He never talks down to the reader.
Yeah, he's such a gifted writer,
He really is.
He can take these really complex ideas, but by weaving in his own personal experiences,
Mhm.
he makes it relatable. Even when it's challenging, you're right there with him.
Absolutely. And, as I was reading the message, it really got me thinking about, like, what stories am I telling myself?
Yeah.
And how are those stories shaping my reality? It's like this question that we don't always ask ourselves, but it's so important.
It is. It's a question we should all be asking, especially today. I mean,
Mhm.
think about the sheer volume of information we're bombarded with every day. We need to be critical consumers of those stories, you know?
Absolutely. We have to be aware of the narratives that are shaping our understanding of the world.
Exactly.
So if you're looking for a book that will really make you think, that will challenge your assumptions, and maybe even change the way you see the world, The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates is it.
I couldn't agree more. It's a must-read.